Hi, hello, my name is Devaraj. Welcome back to Bioenergetics. Today we're going to look at animal crawl. It's quite a popular technique used in all sorts of different bodywork practices. You'll see it in like people doing parkour and people doing different forms of postural integration. And it's a great technique. Most of bioenergetics, we're working to move repression or the influences of repression out of a muscle system, to get the holding patterns out, to get the dead zones alive again. But there are other aspects of bioenergetics too, like little subsidiary channels. And one is opening up somatic centers, the heart, the belly, the throat, the ass. We've done some work on that in that area because the mind tends to constrict and control us around these areas, regulating our exposure to emotions and how much we show emotion, which is essentially unhealthy. And another aspect of bioenergetics makes use of very primal, primitive gestures that sit in either from our very early childhood, like the sucking reflex. We did some work with the sucking reflex earlier in this channel. And also perhaps animal movements and stuff like that, which are kind of encoded in our DNA and have a purpose. And so, essentially this exercise does a little bit of opening up the belly and getting the belly moving a bit, but it's primarily working to activate our DNA and kind of integrate us on an animal level more. Big problem with the human brain is that it's got this very advanced frontal lobes and prefrontal cortex. And whilst, we can think about a lot of stuff, often it takes us a long way away from our natural self. We tend to keep analyzing, correcting, analyzing. We're creating layers of distraction or layers of, I forget the word in a moment, but layers taking us away from our natural self. And so with bioenergetics, we want to come back into our body, into our natural self, and getting into the belly is good. And using these animal crawls can activate some of that old animal DNA inside of us somewhere and start to correct our posture. Okay, so how do you do it? You get on all fours, and like I'm doing now. And this is kind of bear crawl. Let's start with bear crawl, which just means you have the trunk of your body quite high off the ground. You're quite high off the ground, maybe like this. And all you do in animal crawl is move one hand and the opposite foot simultaneously, like this. Go forwards, go back. Some people will find this easy to get into, and some people will find it more tricky. And if you find it more tricky, actually it's really good to practice it because it will probably create quite a shift inside and you will come much more in your own body. If you find it tricky, really it's worth the time to work at it. That was kind of bear crawl. There's other versions of it where you get essentially what you do, or essentially the easiest way to explain it is that the closer the trunk of your body is to the floor, the more intense it is. So if I want to work back here, we can do what's called lizard crawl, which is, of course, lizards who are real close to the ground. Get yourself really low down and move like this. I notice for me, straight away, I'm breathing quite deep into my belly, with the exercise, with the energy of it. So, it's great to feel into your belly if you're not used to feeling into it. You may find that your awareness naturally goes there as you do the crawling technique. One thing to watch out for is it's generally taken that when you want to use animal crawl for, postural correction and really getting your energy straight inside of you and your awareness back into your body, you shouldn't swing your ass from side to side too much as you do it. Often if you go on YouTube and look at people doing a lizard crawl, you'll see them kind of, let's have a look, see if I can do it. You see them kind of doing it, but they're kind of, let's see how we're going to go it. They're doing this a bit, swinging their body from side to side. And generally it's taken that this is not so healthy. You want to try and keep your back line of your body in a fairly straight line as you move, so your ass doesn't waver from side to side too much. This is usually considered to give it a bit more, but it'll work better on your posture if you do this. Okay, so generally when I'm personally using animal crawl in workouts or running workshops, I integrate it with other exercises. And in fact, I think last week or earlier this week, I made a video about the 10 position release, and it's got animal crawl in it. And I'll make some more videos soon, some 1 or 2 quite high energy ones, where integrating animal crawl into a series of postures, to really keep your energy moving. Basically, it activates the belly and the cardiovascular quite a lot. So if you're into body-based therapy, animal crawl can be a really useful thing to slide in there every now and again to really keep people's energy moving and get it deeper down into the belly, activating those animal centers. If you want to just start at it, and do it in a structured way, because that's a good way to do bioenergetics, then I recommend that you put on a 1 minute ding and do 1 minute animal crawl with your body. When you've got it down, start with bear and then get lower if you feel okay with it, but don't be in a rush. Do 1 minute crawling and then 1 minute resting. 1 minute resting, sitting resting, or just lying resting, and then 1 minute crawling, and go around 3 times. And you can wind that up to 2 minutes if you want, something like that. 2 minutes up, 2 minutes resting, and go around 3 times. It won't take very long. It's a great exercise to do, and if you find it difficult, like I said, the coordination and that, then it's a really great exercise to work at, because it'll probably really serve you and give you quite a huge shift inside. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll be back soon with some more bioenergetics. Remember, you can do it. Oh yes.